Of all the fruits of the Bolivian jungle, one is far and away the most profitable and most controversial. It begins its journey to the rich markets of the world, hidden beneath innocuous cargoes. What the dogs are sniffing for is a paste made from the Bolivian coca leaf, the first stage in the production of cocaine. The sad truth is the country's almost broke, its economy propped up in large part by the illegal trade in its most valuable commodity, the coca leaf. To hear our driver Roberto tell it, the jungle town of Etarazama was once oozing with wealth because of cocaine. The people with the money to burn were cocaine traffickers. They paid off the generals who ran Bolivia in the 70s and were free to disport themselves as they wished in Etarazama. The boom lasted about a decade, until the generals were tossed out. The Americans demanded the new government chase out the drug barons as well, and Etarazama sank back into poverty. From its embassy here, the United States can virtually dictate policy to the Bolivians, and it does.
I understood that for them there could be some losses if they didn't give as much attention as we felt necessary to the drug problem. And we were reasonably open about it, and the government, of course, did not like the pressure.
This is the military muscle the US uses to enforce its policy, the Leopards. Bolivia's anti-narcotics paramilitary police, trained and paid for by the Americans. Nonetheless, American economic pressure has galvanized the Bolivians into wiping out 5,500 hectares of coca plants in the past 12 months. But it's a policy that spells misery for many cocalero, coca-growing families for whom the leaf is the only way to eke out a living. Uncle Sam's involvement in wiping out their means of survival has bred deep resentment against Americans amongst the 12,000 cocalero families of the Chapari. The irony is that cocalero like Berto see nothing wrong with the coca leaf. If we in the West want to add kerosene, sulfuric acid and other chemicals to it, turn it into cocaine, stick it in our noses and then kill ourselves with it, well, that's our problem, not theirs.
I think the drug war is going to be lost. You can't win a drug war by prohibiting things that can be made in your bathroom with stuff bought from a grocery store.
Although he and his men still arrest people for crack, a newer drug has long since taken the lead.
We have a big methamphetamine problem right here. You can't blame Mexico for methamphetamine when we seize 50 laboratories right here in this county.
What is it about crystal meth?
Methamphetamine is easily made. You can make it anywhere, in a motel room, in a car. That's one reason.
Methamphetamines, I mean, it's all chemicals, you know, and it's the one, it's the epidemic of Arizona, I know that for sure.
So at some point, one might ask oneself, how does an industry of this size function while remaining illegal? Where does the money flow? Who's profiting off of it? Is there really $7 billion floating around the province unaccounted for? Maybe people are feeling the effects and they don't even know it. Turns out there seems to be a system.
First, you have a home or landowner. He doesn't take on much responsibility. He is simply the legitimate owner of where the grow operation will take place. All he has to do is pick up a briefcase every 3 months and pay off his mortgage. His hands are clean because he can claim ignorance if the grow operation is busted. Oh, I'm sorry, officer. I didn't know they were growing marijuana there. Then you have his 50-50 partner, the contractor, who will provide the equipment and hire the grower or grow himself. The grower is known as the fall guy. Why the name? Because that's exactly what he is. If the operation is busted, he takes the fall. Once the crop is matured, clippers are then hired. They prep the weed for distribution by cutting away the excess leaves and stems. What a lot of people don't understand is a part of the marijuana plant that people smoke is the bud, which in essence is the plant's flower. It's not the leaves. Clippers are generally hired on an hourly wage starting around $20. Tax-free, of course. Once the marijuana is ready, in steps the weed broker. He's not always required, but sometimes the partner with the equipment needs a broker to buy his product and then sell it for him. In the event that a broker is required, it usually means the weed is headed south to the United States. In that case, the broker will buy the pot for somewhere between $1,800 and $2,000 a pound. He'll then hire a border jumper, a risk taker, someone who has the balls and hopefully the wits to get the product over the border. Some of the most common ways? The border jumper's fee varies with each trip, but they're always well paid. Once the product has reached the broker's US connection, it will earn about $3,000 a pound. The farther south it goes, the more it makes. If it manages to make it all the way out east to areas like New York, the price is driven even higher, somewhere between $3,500 and $6,000 a pound. Stricter laws demand higher prices and in turn provide more profits. In Miami, 7 to 8 pounds of BC bud will trade for 1 kilo of pure yayo. Cocaine. That in turn makes its way back up to Canada. And sells for anywhere from $30,000 to $35,000 a key. If the marijuana manages to stay in the province, it will usually sell for around $1,800 to $2,000 a pound, depending on how flooded the market is. This is just the tip of the iceberg. The union embodies a slew of businesses and services, generating profits both directly and indirectly for the province. Some know they are involved and others choose not to acknowledge the benefits they gain from it. Carpenters build tables, rooms, sheds, and anything else that's needed for a grow show.
Brand new homes are being built expressly for the purpose of housing a marijuana grow operation.
Electricians set up lights, wire the electrical components, divert power if necessary. Hardware stores provide construction materials to build rooms and grow operation structures. Hydroponic stores supply lights, nutrients, soil, and other equipment needed to grow. Seed sellers provide, well, seeds. Clone growers create clones from other marijuana plants to aid in quicker grow cycles. Real estate agencies market houses to growers, unknowingly, but they profit all the same. There are some realtors, though, who are directly involved in the union and will actually cater to growers' needs, finding houses in secluded areas with big basements and power that can be spliced and stolen. Mortgage brokers and lease brokers who help growers with poor credit get the houses they need to start up. Banks who have minimal security to prevent illegal money from being deposited. The way it works now is deposits over $3,000 are sometimes questioned but are left up to the teller to decide whether the deposit is suspicious. If they believe it is, they may put a note on the account. It isn't until a $10,000 deposit that a mandatory FCAC form is filled out and sent away. But it is possible for $9,999 deposits to go through with little question. Oh, you sold some motorbikes. Cool. Oh, you sold your boat. Neat. Thanks for the business. You get the point. Lawyers and law firms provide counseling on how to make grow money legit. They help set up and incorporate LTD companies and holding companies to launder money. They also provide legal counsel to keep busted growers out of jail. The electric company who makes money off of enlarged electric bills due to excess lights. The only time they seem to get involved is when they think someone is stealing the power. Law enforcement receives budgets to fight the cultivation. They create special task forces like the Green Team to specifically target marijuana. Canadians spend $300 to $500 million annually on law enforcement and the justice system to enforce marijuana laws. Police also receive the benefits of seizing growers' and dealers' assets. And last, but definitely not least, everyday businesses. Bars, restaurants, clothing stores, boat dealerships, car dealerships. The money funneled indirectly through various everyday businesses. Growers and dealers like to spend money on everything.